Morning, everybody. David Shapiro here with another video. First, I will say that I did a poll and there's overwhelming support for ads on my videos, so I'll stop bugging you guys about Patreon. I thought you guys hated ads, but I guess you guys don't care. All right, so moving on. ChatGPT is causing a lot of heartburn in the world. If you do a search, it's obviously exploded in the news. And so I wanted to talk about ChatGPT and education and how it's going to be deployed. So first, the big thing was that it's been banned in New York City, all their devices and networks. So this is a very reactionary and not entirely unexpected new thing. It's disruptive. It's dangerous. Ban it. Now it's probably gonna be banned until further notice, until they figure out what to do with it, so on and so forth. But in the long run, imagine if the laptop came out and city of New York banned laptops. That's kind of what it feels like. It's like, oh, here's a powerful new technology, ban it. No typewriters for you. So it's kind of a Luddite move, but it's also understandable because it represents a drastic change and a potential threat. So that's and what I'm doing here is I'm setting the stage for where the conversation will go. So I saw this, and then there's people saying, okay, so on one extreme there's just ban it, and then in the middle there are people saying, well, how do we use this, right? So New York blocks it. But embracing the potential and so on and so forth. So all kinds of people are trying to use it. And so this, which this just happened a few days ago, prompted me to write this tweet. The existential crisis happening in education because of ChatGPT is kind of ironic to me. School systems around the world are so focused on grading and busy work that they've forgotten the purpose of education, learning. So this got 186,000 views, almost 1,300 likes, and 161 retweets. So clearly I struck a nerve. There's obviously a few people that just said, well, if you can't do grading, how do you know that learning has happened? And I'm like, bro, do you know the first thing about pedagogy? Grading is not to measure learning. Grading is to rank and file children, we can get into the history of that at another time. Anyways, so point being is it resonated, and so the level of support that I got for this tweet was what was surprising. But what was also surprising was that the kinds of people who are in support of this technology, largely in the ungrading community. And so I issued a follow-up tweet where I said I want to talk to people about education and AI, specifically around ungrading. So I don't know that much about ungrading yet. I'm actually starting to talk to people this coming week. I think I've got 5 or 6 conversations lined up. So I'll probably have a few more interviews coming. And basically what I want to do is learn what the experts think about these technologies and how to use them. So that's coming. But yeah, it was really surprising that a whole bunch of people that are ungrading, no, we're focused on something different. And obviously, anytime that you talk about children and education, it's going to be super, super polarizing. And that is due in part because learning and education are very complex topics, and there is no one right answer. We'll do the best that we can. Anyways, so there's the ungrading people, but then I also had a whole bunch of people reach out to me on LinkedIn wanting help because they are in either developing nations or underprivileged areas, and they see ChatGPT as a potential expert teacher, because the thing is in America, we and other privileged areas, we take for granted that we might have access to good teachers. We take it for granted that we can afford the luxury of busy work and grading. But when you have only a handful of decent teachers and hundreds of students, when you have or you don't even have a few good teachers, but you have a hunger to learn, and all you've got is an internet connection, then it's like it really shines a light on how much privilege we have and how privileged the idea of like, but what it, but grading, and it's like, let's actually think globally about this, and let's think about how this technology can help everyone, and not just our own little narrow backyard view. I don't have strong opinions about this. I used to be married to a teacher, so like these were dinner time conversations for us. So that's setting the stage, and then I wanted to show one more dichotomy, which is on the one hand, people are saying like, oh, it's going to be as mundane as Excel soon. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that this is a short-term kind of thinking about it. It will become commonplace, but I don't think it'll be mundane. I think that this represents a step change in the way that we approach education and business. And then, of course, then Bloomberg, which is I find that I frequently don't agree with Bloomberg. They have a few good YouTube videos every now and then, but like, what is it good for? Nothing good. And it's just like, okay, whatever. Go back to your cave, Luddite. Now, so this leads me to my final point today, which is Microsoft is now looking at adding ChatGPT or similar things to its Office suite. This is an infinitely better choice than integrating it with Bing. Let me just start there. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to resurrect Clippy. So if you, well, here, let's just Clippy. Do you remember Clippy? So this is what Microsoft wants to do now, is to resurrect Clippy. And wow, what is this, conquered by Clippy? I really regret having Googled this. Anyways, this is a much better direction to go. I don't know if they're actually gonna call it Clippy, but they've got that IP and it's recognizable. And if they're gonna try and resurrect Bing and Clippy before Cortana, great, I guess. More power to you, Microsoft. But at least they're moving in the right direction. Now, one thing that I did want to urge some caution over is that when you have a general purpose tool like this, the flexibility can be difficult. And I've had some calls with people, some interviews, and language models, given their infinite flexibility, require a lot of learning and a lot of creativity. And so I think that what we're going to see is we're going to have things go in two different directions. We're going to have the general purpose chatbot, that can do everything, which there are lots of things that we can do to make those a little more powerful, so that you ask it for help and it then guides the conversation. I don't have confidence that the current crop of people understand cognitive architecture well enough to do that. I do, but I don't think that they are going to be able to figure that out just with fine tuning. So then, however, there's also going to be a tremendous amount of value by having very, very highly focused, purpose-built, case-by-case functions that are chat or chat-like, that are there and they're built to achieve very specific outcomes, and with very specific guardrails and UX. Because here's the thing: is we've only just scratched the surface. A chat interface, there are so many other possibilities out there, and I'm speaking from experience because my startup, we are building highly customized, highly productive UXs, user experiences, around these technologies. So integrating a chat, like a Clippy or whatever, this is just phase one. This is just the low-hanging fruit. So anyways, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I won't bug you about Patreon anymore.